we'll get it. I mean,
Oh, I see.
yeah, like we'll get
Well,
an
maybe it's the same thing with me. How when you tried calling me something, I don't know what happened or whatever,
He's not.
but
I messaged him on. He has Facebook, and I messaged him on Facebook. And I'm like, "Hey, you good?" And he still might be at work, which is fine. As the whole original plan to all this was supposed to be like Jedi'd be here, and it'd be you two, and we kind of have like a little transition of Jedi's going away to raise a baby again. So here's the future, but
right.
you know,
Yeah. Once again, congratulations to Jedi.
oh, absolutely. Okay, now I believe we're live. Wow, I don't
Nice.
like. Yeah, nice. It's been doing that. Yeah.
Let me see if
I
I
hate it.
can. Let me see if
I
I
hate
can.
how
I
that.
have them.
See, I hate how that happens because it used to be you had to wait to click on go live, and then it would just be like you could do the intro. Now it's like as soon as I click start streaming, it's like you're in, boy, which is
Oh, there we go.
good because we would always
All right.
fuck it. We're
I'm
like
watching the stream now.
yeah, fuck it. We're just we're here. We would always have this big silence of like, we live. Okay, now we can start talking. Now I guess it's just like fuck it, we're in there. But yeah, hello
It's
everyone,
a,
and
it's this
it's
podcast style. This is a conversation. You just start. There's no good way
yeah,
to start. You just do
yeah.
it.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. As you can see, um, Jedi's not here because his baby's being born. As you picked up on that. So we have this week we're gonna have kind of a should I say
Okay.
revolving, or is it
Can
gonna be
I
kind of like a? Go ahead.
can I choose a character on the wall to be representative of me? Let me
Sure.
see. You have such a. I want to be the Naito picture on the wall over there with the hat.
You want to be Naito? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Naito. Okay.
There we go.
You sure? You sure you don't want to be the autographed D'Lo Brown?
Maybe the X Pac over there on the
Okay.
left.
Yeah, the Xbox cool. I also have the autograph 123 kid down there too, but that's also good. But SCU is right up there. Why would you not want to be them?
Well, I can't. It's hard to. Let's see. What do we got here? we gotta have.
SCU's right there up top.
SCU. There we go.
SCU. Well,
Is Ray in here yet?
I don't know if he is. I don't know. He hasn't made the SCU proclamation if he is. So, but yeah, we're here with Eric. Not
I am
easy,
from
but
the SCU.
from the SCU, the longtime chatter and friend of the show and participant in the chat, and he's going to be he's earned his stripes. He's been promoted from grunt in the chat to sergeant at arms here with us as Jedi goes and takes care of his new baby.
Yeah, congratulations to the Jedi.
Absolutely. So Jedi, if you check this out, congratulations, bud. But I'm pretty sure he's not checking out right now because he's got a lot on his damn plate. So if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I've been watching wrestling for 15 years. I've been talking wrestling with the gentleman on the other end of the tin can and string for, since All In. And we
Which
love.
conveniently was left out of the All In podcast, but it's okay. I listened to all of them anyway. They were awesome episodes.
Well, we kind of it was hard enough to get those two people there.
Did you at least mention the All In boys, the All In chat?
I do mention that a little. Like we're gonna get everybody from the All In chat eventually.
That's gonna be a
there.
fun one.
Oh yeah, but the depending on how fucking off the rails it goes.
Man, it'll be a fun one.
We'll fucking tangent off into why AEW's not that good.
We'll do it Mania weekend.
I don't know if
It'll
I'm
be
gonna
fun.
make Mania weekend.
Oh, we'll see. When it ever happens, if it ever happens, we'll do it.
See, I'm kind of in the boat now because with Mania weekend, like for the price of one Mania weekend, I could do 2 AEW pay-per-views. So I'd rather do that.
Yeah, that is true.
I could
That
do
is
Double
true,
or
that's
Nothing
true.
and like Revolution for the price of one Mania weekend. It's like that's 2 shows.
But it's Los Angeles. Beautiful, beautiful, sunny Los Angeles, full of COVID. You want to come see it? Everyone.
Can I take a piss on the Coliseum in my Notre Dame hat?
Yeah, if you want to, I'll show you where it's at.
Fuck USC. Fuck them. Fuck them.
It's a
Miss
fun
Ace,
city.
he's there. What's up, man? Thanks for coming. So, yeah, we've been watching wrestling for a long time. Well, for a couple years now, because Jedi's busy being a dad. We love wrestling and we love sharing wrestling with other passionate wrestling fans. Hence, why I met this individual. However, at the end of the day, we're not insiders. We're not wrestlers. We are just two marks. We avoid insider terms because, well, I didn't really earn the right to use them. So we're just kind of finding the new format in the Jedi is a dad absence. So we'll just start from the top with Raw. If do you have the Raw results pulled up? Are you gonna fully be Jedi, or am I gonna have to be both Jedi and me?
What do you mean?
Oh, Jedi always has the results on his phone, and he.
Oh, I wrote it. I looked up the clip notes. I wrote.
Oh,
it down.
okay.
I got my papers. So, what are we gonna start off with?
Start off with Raw. Let's just take it from the top.
What? Let's see. The first thing I had written down was the Dominic versus Raw. I don't know what the order of things was exactly because I didn't catch Raw.
Well, here I'm gonna help you out there because I'll be Jedi tonight.
Let's see. There's a lot of notes I have, but I just don't know how.
Well, they have the contract signing with Seth Rollins and Dominic.
And Dominic, okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is my first thought,
and then ended up turning into a Rollins versus Humberto Carrillo match. Go ahead.
Rollins versus. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yes. First thing is, I don't understand why Seth Rollins is involved with this. This sounds like a mid-card building sort of a thing, where they should have Bobby Lashley or Bobby Roode for fuck's sakes, or oh shit. Can we cuss on this thing?
Yeah, you can swear. Just like the only thing I ask is just like, don't be a racist or don't be anything like that. That's it. That's the only thing that I'm against on this show. You know.
Oh no, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
No. I'm just.
You can cuss. Just be a basically decent human being, and you're fine.
I just worked with kids for 15 hours this week. If my mouth is just like running its own now.
You're supposed to say fuck,
I'm
fuck,
on autopilot.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's just fuck, penis, fuck. But no. So anyway, no. I'm just saying, it just sounds like something that would be cooler if it was building someone lesser than Rollins. Doesn't need the rub. Dominic has nothing to gain by beating him, or I don't know.
Well,
Dominic,
if Dominic can beat Rollins, that'd be a big deal as his first match. To me, it's just kind of like, here's my thing. You have certain, children of famous wrestlers that have gone on to be very, very successful. You have Goldust, you have Cody, you have Charlotte, and I'm, Bray Wyatt. You have Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a complete player hater. I'll give him some props. But then you also have some that were given too much too soon, and they petered out, like Ted DiBiase Jr., David Sammartino, David Flair, Eric Watts.
Right.
You have so many that were put. That didn't. The one thing you can kind of somewhat give to Cody, to Randy Orton, and the like is they kind of either start at the bottom and work their way up to an extent. Cody did kind of get thrust into a big feud, but he wasn't fighting a former world champion that soon. In his first pay-per-view,
Right.
He wrestled lower mid-carders. He became a tag team. He went to the Intercontinental. He kind of organically moved up the ladder.
Yeah, I remember he was like dashing Cody and then disfigured Cody and then he became, just like
disfigured Cody was when I became a fan of him. But yeah, or they reinvent themselves like Goldust,
Stardust.
Yeah, that's what.
Or they're given complete shit like Stardust.
Like Stardust, yes. So,
I mean, that's not his fault. He did the best. But
it's not. It's not Cody's. But here, kind of circling back to the original point here is, if Dominic doesn't fucking rock a lot of people's socks, people are already going to be like, what the fuck is this kid doing?
Right. But at the same time, if he beats Rollins, people are going to expect him to be the top dog or at least a main contender, and he's just not that level. So it's like,
Exactly. It's
what are they
kind
going
of,
to do with it?
it'd be different if.
I don't know. Like, it's a good story because they've been involving Ray and they've been doing,
Right.
whatever. I followed it and it's fine. I like it, but at the same time, I'm just like, why is this going to Rollins? Why isn't this going to a mid Carter who needs the rub or who needs to be
Like, put Buddy
more
Murphy with.
respect, like more of a built-up threat, like you know what I mean? Because there's not enough people who are just like credible threats. It's all just like 50-50 booking, or this is that's not I'm a mark. I can't say that.
Yeah.
People, I just know
Writing.
that a lot of
Writing.
people
50,
win and lose a lot.
50-50 writing. But here's my thing is like, why not like Buddy Murphy?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Any of them.
why not Buddy Murphy? And for the love of God, like, if Dominic loses, that's not necessarily a bad thing. See,
I
that's
don't
kind
want to
of
jump. I don't want to jump too soon to AEW comparisons or anything.
No,
But
go
one of
ahead.
the
Let's
notes
do
I
it.
also wrote down. Well, one of the notes I wrote down was that the reason why the Dark Order is working well to me right now is that they have a proper stable of jobbers, a mid card like Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and then the top tier like Brody Lee. If they do that with any other stable, like in WWE, like Seth Rollins should be the top tier guy. Why is he doing all this grunt work or whatever? Like I said with Dominic, he should go to a mid card guy like you're saying Murphy. That would be perfect because then it makes Murphy a credible threat to like a guy to go through to get to the main boss or whatever. But it's just Rollins who just gets everything.
And then
It's
even
like,
if
dude,
and if
I've
Murphy
seen it.
if Murphy wins, it's kind of like one of those, okay, I dispatched Dominic, now I want the U.S. title.
Or if
You know what I
Dominic
mean?
beats Murphy, it's like, oh shoot, like Dominic's a threat. Maybe he can beat Rollins, and then they have him. They haven't really. They skipped a step somewhere where I'm just like, I don't understand why I should believe that Rollins is wasting his time with this. If he's the Monday Night Messiah, why isn't he going after McIntyre at this point? But he's wrapped up with Rollins. It's just this is the lack of their ability to build up any stars or build up a main card, mid card, and a lower
Mm-hmm.
card like they've been trying to do. But that's just one of the reasons why Raw's so frustrating to watch lately. So
To say the least.
right,
Um,
yeah.
So from there we have Andrade versus Angelo Dawkins. Okay.
So the only thing about this, it's a good match and they're good wrestlers and everything like that. But it's just they're just, and it like we were talking about earlier, it might just be a reason of COVID because they don't have the full roster, they don't have the people in the crowd, they don't have the extra light that they need to ignite the spark. But it seems like these matches are running in circles. But what is the stable even doing? Zelina Vega comes out. What does she even do really? Like she dresses in high fashion, and then they fight, and then they lose every week. Or maybe Andrade wins one, and then they lose the next week. Every week, and then they fight with each other, and then they're friends again. It's like what is the stable doing? Like I don't understand
You know,
why.
since we're already going with the AEW comparisons, it's kind of like, AEW's far from perfect, but like, at least the questions that you're asking at AEW are kind of like, hey, you're confident they're going to actually lead to something? Whereas
Mhm.
with Raw, it's just kind of like, so what is it?
Right.
Like, you're asking
Well, it's like
questions to understand it rather than asking questions about the story.
it's like rubber matches used to be 1 out of 3 or whatever it was. Now it's like 1 out of 300, where it's just match after match after match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's just like I said, a lot of it is they win and then they lose and then they win or they don't win and then they get disqualified or they just whatever. It's like it's exhausting to watch because it goes nowhere. But people like Andrade again could be in the mid card facing people like Dominic. You know what I mean? Like they could have a better feud because he wants to be the new Rey Mysterio or whatever, and so it just writes itself if you think about it, but they just don't go with it. So it's frustrating, but it is fun.
So we have Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin, which I remember originally thinking, hey, I should like this. These are two guys I like. And then it ended up just being kind of a meh TV match.
I'm gonna disagree with you on this. This is the first time I think, because this is the one I am getting into. Because, like I was saying, how they were trying to build something credible
No,
or
no, no. I
whatever.
meant the match itself is what was meh. Like I
Oh,
really
I
thought
see.
they.
Okay,
I thought that they. When I hear Apollo Crews and Shelton Benjamin, like I know it's
you
Raw.
expected,
This isn't the
right?
fucking. This isn't fucking All Out or the Tokyo Dome or a Takeover or even a WWE pay per view where you're like, ooh, it's Raw. So I mean, your expectations can go from this to about this, but I got this. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. 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 If they give it time, like anything, like when they gave Bailey 40 minutes or whatever in Oscar a couple weeks ago, and they crushed it. If they
Right.
give them time and stuff, it could be great. But I like how they're building the U.S. title. I like how they redesigned it. I like how they're fighting for it and making it feel like a thing that's going
I feel like
chased after.
the U.S. title's the only redesign that's worth a shit in my opinion.
It's pretty good looking. I like
I
it. It's
like
kind of thick.
I like it, but just the Intercontinental Belt is trash.
Well, but it's not doing anything either. It's just I couldn't even tell you who the champion is, to be honest.
AJ,
Oh, is he?
it isn't that
Oh, but that's
sad?
over on Smack. Okay, so that's on SmackDown then, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Isn't
okay.
that
So see,
sad
I'm
that
thinking
you have arguably the best wrestler in WWE with that title, and it's shit.
right, but no. What's more sad is that AJ's on SmackDown, and I'm blending it all together. But they're also trying to sell that there's going to be a the draft soon or whatever. But that completely. Why are they trying to
Why do
still
you need
keep
no?
that thing? That
Okay,
completely failed. Like,
okay. I
oh
don't
my
mind.
gosh.
Let's see. Kind of. We're really flying by the seat of our pants this week, but it doesn't really matter. I don't mind a brand extension.
Right.
I like the idea of a brand extension. Hey, there's
But
two
it
different
it just
brands and
fell
there's two
so
different.
flat.
But it's to me a better way of doing it would rather than you keep the rosters separate, you keep like the mid card belt separate, but
Mhm.
you have one world champion, one women's champion, one tag champions, and they can go to both shows. And it's kind of like you have like the traveling champion. Kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
when they
yeah.
first did it. Like I remember one of the things I liked about it when it originally began back in 2002 was you'd have Undertaker on Raw, and he was the big time bad guy in a storyline with Jeff Hardy. But then he'd go to SmackDown, and he'd be kind of in the middle because yes, he was having his issues with The Rock, but he was also having his issues with Jericho and Angle, and they were bad, but
Mhm.
Rock was good, and you'd be cheering for him against Angle and Jericho, but booing him against The Rock. So it's kind of like it kind of reminded me before I really understood the territory system. But it's kind of like what, in retrospect, it's like what the territory system was. Ric Flair could be wrestling, or Harley Race, when he was in Kansas City, was a beloved hero. But then when he'd
Yeah.
go to the Carolinas or Georgia and wrestle Ric Flair, he was a bad guy. Or when he'd go to Texas and wrestle one of the Von Erichs, he was the bad guy. But in Kansas City, he was a god amongst men.
Right.
It's kind of like, okay, character switches depending on where they're at, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, especially if you're in Philadelphia. Apparently, they will just boo the shit out of you no
Yeah.
matter what you do. But yeah, speaking of Undertaker too, they came out swinging on WWE YouTube channel lately. They've posted Undertaker versus Stone Cold at SummerSlam, like a 20 or 30-minute match or whatever. That's like a good one to watch. So
That is a good one. Definitely check that out. But yeah, like I like where they're going with like the storyline. I guess I expected more when I hear Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin.
they can build to it, I guess, still, and it might be pay-per-view SummerSlam worthy, and when they get to it and stuff. But I'm just appreciating how they're actually building something up and how they're using it without making it a joke like the 24/7
Right.
belt or whatever.
Hey, the 24/7 belt's a joke, but it was one of the most entertaining parts of the show.
I know, and that's
That's sad.
it's just breaking fourth walls where it's like, why is this? Yeah, I just want to see more of this instead of the actual show where it used to be just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Undertaker would, well, I don't know. It's just, we can talk about old school stuff in a different one, but
So
they would mix silly with serious.
and I don't even mind a little wrestling's supposed to be fun. I don't mind that.
Right.
But it's just like, like how does WWE not? Here's my comparison. WWE is McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's McDonald's. It's never gonna go away, and you can be like, oh, that's not really that good. It's not my favorite. This thing's good. Oh, I don't mind a large order of fries and an apple pie. Those are good. But overall,
Hmm.
it's not the highest quality of food. But it's always gonna be there, and no matter how much people complain about it, it's always gonna be there.
Hmm.
But on the flip side of thing, like with McDonald's, it's just like with all the money you're making, why does even the new stuff you make fall flat? You know what
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like WWE should not. WWE, like with their talent roster, we should not be going, what the hell is going on? We should be going, well, goddamn. Wrestling's great on Mondays, it's great on Wednesdays, it's great on Fridays,
And
it's
with
great
the
all the time.
stacked roster they have and people coming up from NXT all the time, they should be the must-watch wrestling. There's no excuse or no reason why.
Well,
They're
they
not
are
eating.
still the most watched wrestling. I'll give them that, because
Well,
we
their
know some loyalists that are still going to go. They make more money, hand over fist than AEW, and that is true.
But that's because that's what you're saying about McDonald's. There's 50 McDonald's is in one state or one city. I mean, while there's only one Farmer Boys or whatever, and so when McDonald's is going to win every time, but Farmer Boys is going to get better reviews every time. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like it just. But at the same time, why isn't McDonald's absolutely killing it? You know what I mean?
Like,
they should be getting-
McDonald's has the resources to. I'm not saying that they should make everything They shouldn't make everything. They shouldn't differentiate from what brought them to the dance, which is hey, here's some real fast, real quick and easy food, but
Right.
where is the good stuff? That you could add to the menu. Where's it at?
Yeah. And they go, oh fuck McDonald's instead
Oh,
of going, oh, fuck
oh,
McDonald's.
I can get the double cheeseburger Happy Meal for my kid, and that's the equivalent of your Roman Reigns, your R-Truth, all that kind of
Right.
stuff. But then with I can also get this really really phenomenal Angus burger, because I know they used to have Angus burgers. They have the resources. They could do like, here's a really good burger you can make, and you can charge a little extra money. Adults will fucking pay for it, and that's the equivalent of Brian and AJ and Fiend and all these other things. But just it's not there. The difference is now you have a lot of people still tell it like you have like snobs telling you like, yeah, but there ain't gonna. I've never had Farmer Boys. Farmer Boys ain't gonna last making that good food. It's saying
Yeah.
they're gonna go out of business as long as they want to start catering to that niche people that like Farmer Boys. They ain't gonna fucking last.
Well, they have what is it? Beyond Burgers. We want real burgers. So it's like, yeah, it's just the same thing. We want classic wrestling. We don't want this new flippy shit kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know.
We're on the tangent, but fucking, I'm 4 beers in and I don't really give a shit at this point. But
I know, right? Should we order McDonald's right now?
yeah, let's get some McDonald's. I'm feeling some McDonald's right now.
Sounds pretty good. I have my Batman McDonald's. You gotta love McDonald's. Everyone loves McDonald's. Everyone loves that.
When you're drunk, nothing beats a McGangbang when you're drunk.
Nothing sounds better than a Big Mac ever.
Ooh, I'm not a Big Mac guy. I made the food for too long to really like a Big Mac, so
I see.
yeah. But kind of forgot. I always find myself among like I have to defend the Bucks to traditional wrestling fans, and I got to defend Cody Rhodes to like the new wrestling fan. Like I'm always like
Right.
having to defend these two parts of the elite to the two different sides of things. Like, no, the Bucks are really not all about flippy stuff. They're actually really good. Yeah, they're fucking flippy, fucking goddamn bullshit. No, they're actually, if you watch this match, it's actually pretty good. Oh, fucking Cody, he's so fucking boring. Oh, he does nothing good. I want to, how many fucking 5-star matches you have? One, that's probably because I felt sorry for by Meltzer. And I'm like, no,
Yeah,
he's had
yeah.
great matches with. He hasn't had a bad match in 2020.
well, Meltzer says, but my boy Cornette says. It's just like, oh gosh, can't you? What do you think?
Or
It was
among
pretty
our
good.
group, of friends, well, Bully Ray said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But it's just like, well, what did you think? Oh, the match was pretty good. It's just like, yeah, of course
But
it
Bully
was.
Ray said, but Cornette said, but Meltzer said. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. Here's the thing about Meltzer. Everybody goes so all in, no pun intended, on Meltzer's star rating that they don't read what he actually says about the match.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, I mean, this is with any ratings. They look at the number, then they'll read the review later, or
Or
at
they
their own
just,
leisure.
or
But
in the case of Meltzer, they just don't read it like, oh, hey, Cody had a 4-star match. Ah! That's fucking that's fucking average.
Okay.
But whenever Meltzer puts in there, really great job, told a great story. I really loved the match. Crowd really loved it too. One of the best matches of the night, 4 stars. But then they go like, oh, but fucking. And I love Kenny Omega. I mean, he's fucking all over my wall here. But Kenny had a 6-star match that night, so Cody's really not that good.
Yeah.
So that's like me at war with all the fandoms that I.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and it's exhausting. It really
It
is.
is very exhausting. So back
That's why
to
you like what you like. I still think Naito's the coolest shit in wrestling, but he's getting to the point where it's like you can't really.
he's
Even it, yeah, it just breaks my heart every time, but I still am a fan. Like,
he's I think that's like he's kind of like he's like the Tommy Dreamer of New Japan. Like whenever something good happens to him, something bad's got to happen immediately.
well, I just mean there's like nobody cool. He's like Raven. He's just like the coolest guy. Where it's just like he
Right.
comes out. The belt doesn't matter. His hat matters because that's his group. That's
Right.
his logo. It's like that. Yeah, it's punk rock. But at the same time, it's just like no, he always loses. Every time I see him live, he's losing. Every time I see a match with this, he's losing. It's like, I just found out he's the champion, and then he lost. Oh my gosh. So
You need to get New Japan World so you can watch these live.
yeah, I mean, they always air. I mean, I'm well asleep by. I'll wake up and my YouTube is just filled with the highlights and stuff. But I mean,
Well,
I catch it.
avoid YouTube and then get on New Japan World and watch the whole match and have your
Yeah.
heartstrings tugged at. So
I see the matches, but I like how you know the stories. Like I was watching one of your stories or your I think one of your episodes or whatever, where you were describing, oh, this is why Kenny won because he had to betray himself and then he found himself again and blah blah blah. I was just like, oh yeah, Kenny was badass. He won because of course he won.
Right.
You're just like, no, but there's like a journey to it and shit. And I was like, I saw all those matches that you're talking about and stuff too. Like
Right.
I followed New Japan. Shit, when was that? Like 14, 15-ish, when all that stuff started happening.
The Kenny's bro.
Like Bullet Club, like
14
like
through
right
about
when AJ, right when they like I saw AJ versus Okada or whatever. Then I saw the Bullet Club betray him, and that's like when I first started watching New Japan. I was just like, whoa, this is bad. Like, what is this again?
2016. That's when he because
Six.
yeah they kicked him out and then like a few weeks later he was in the Rumble.
Yeah, and then
Like
that was the big thing too, because like Naito came over and Balor and stuff, and it's just like the name New Japan started getting kicked around a lot more than I ever heard ever.
The thing
You know,
the thing that keeps New Japan, what's gonna hold New Japan back from being big in America is the way they tell stories is not good for every American fan.
yeah, because it's long term.
It's long term, it's very subtle, it's very intricate, where there's gonna be a lot of American fans going, why didn't this guy just fucking win?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Long term booking works out great if it works out great. If the
Right.
people don't get hurt or if there's no COVID for 6 months or
But
whatever.
the thing, but here's the and me and Dirty, our mutual friend, I talked about this with him in line, ironically, to meet Kenny Omega last Labor Day weekend at All Out, which is going to make me more sad that there's not going to be a Chicago wrestling show that weekend. But I digress.
Yeah.
And he kind of said, if New Japan would just start changing the way they do things for the American audience, they could compete with WWE. And I'm like, that would be terrible because then they'd betray their Japanese audience, and the American audience would go, who are all these Japanese people? Fuck,
Right.
where's John Cena? I don't give a shit. Let's go. I don't want to watch this Japanese guy. There's fucking John Cena right there.
Yeah,
at the end of
but
the
they do have the like you were saying, like the guys like Juice Robinson, who are I remember Juice, or you know what I mean, from
right,
NXT, or they need
and
more kind of crossover people like that too.
they do, but I feel like a lot of the not everyone, but there's a lot of Americans live in like the Gaijin bubble, if
Hmm.
that makes sense in New Japan. And I was there,
Right.
and I was there too. I mean, like for me, like you mentioned AJ, like he's who got me into following New Japan because I was just a big AJ fan. I'm like, oh, he's in New Japan now. How do I find this? Oh, here's a site that sells bootleg DVDs. Click, 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 click.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I remember when AJ lost to Tanahashi, I was like, oh, they're dumb. That's fucking stupid. New Japan's a bunch of fucking morons. Why wouldn't you want to have the AJ have it? He's popular in America, and you have the Bullet Club's the heel stable. Of course, not realizing that the bigger story was Tanahashi and Okada.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Because that's you're right. That it's just has more seniority or whatever to it, but
it just and then it's just kind of AJ coming in like it would be if AJ would have taken the belt to the Dome that year when I was watching it and I was all pissed off about it. That would have been the equivalent of instead of Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17, fucking Kurt Angle retained,
right.
and we got
Yeah.
Austin versus Angle. Would that have been a bad match? No, would have been. It wouldn't have been a bad match at all. It would have been great. But would it have been Rock Austin? No. So there's kind of like something big. There was something bigger there than just this Gaijin bubble. I remember mentioning it. I think Jay's overrated, but everybody's like, "Oh, well, Jay needs to be the champion because he's the best. He's the best bad guy they got. The best bad guy they got." Not really. He's the best bad guy to an American.
Well, I was a fan of Jay because of when we saw him live in
Oh yeah,
Long Beach.
I'm not going to say that
He,
Jay isn't worthy of a good spot. I'm just saying that like he's not worthy of being world's champion.
right.
Like,
Yeah, and I agree that they pulled the trigger way too fast on that. But they even admitted themselves that they were in panic mode after Omega left. So I mean, I don't know. But
my opinion on that remains the same. It's like, so you leave the belt on Tanahashi, and you let the rivalry that's defined the last decade of New Japan main event your biggest American show.
mhm.
Like, again, hey, if you think if The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin could have had if they could have had a fucking like SummerSlam at the Tokyo Dome. And you think they would have put Rock Austin there, or Cena and AJ, or Cena and Roman Reigns, or
It'll
something
be
like
Rock
that?
Austin at Saudi in next year. Watch.
Yeah,
Just wait. Just you wait.
the greatest Rock Austin ever.
The greatest Rock Austin in a cage for some reason.
So,
It'll just be a DQ. Which
So
leads
this-
me to another point: was what's up with the refs in WWE? Because the other week, a couple weeks ago, when I caught Raw live, and I caught it, I guess halfway into the show or whatever, because it was the Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler match, and it was actually a really good match. I was getting into it, and they gave it their all. Like I was saying, they gave them time. It was nice. It was hard hitting. It built the story, whatever. And for no reason at all, the referee DQ'd it because Asuka came out and attacked Bayley on the outside of the ring. Two people had nothing to do with inside the ring, attacked each other, and then the ref called it, whatever. So then I guess this coming Raw or whatever you were talking about with the Cruz and Benjamin earlier is the ref just lets all this shenanigans happen, but it's like people dog on other companies all you want because of they're not following the rules or they don't do this or that, but it's like just as inconsistent anywhere else. I just don't. It's hard to follow. I don't understand it.
I don't either, and I get your point. That's kind of.
It makes sense if like when Jericho's asking Mike Chioda, "Oh, you're gonna do the right thing, right? You're gonna count to 3, right?" Like that makes sense. Or it's like, "Oh, the ref would do something screwy or something." But when it's just like,
And we're gonna get to all of that here when we get to AEW.
Well, just wait till we get to Hell in a Cell. I don't know what's gonna happen. 2 years in a row of just nonsense DQs where it's like.
I still remember my rant where I'm like, because I remember like hearing all the loyalists WWE going like, "Oh no, this is actually a good idea because then you protect the Fiend, and then he doesn't win the belt right away, and he didn't actually lose." It's like, if you cannot have a clear-cut winner in a Hell in a Cell match,
In a Hell in a Cell
in a
match.
Hell in a Cell, then you don't do the match.
Oh my gosh.
You
Why would you have a
you do
This
something
is too
else, and you
extreme.
wait until you decide what can give. Either Fiend becomes champion or the Fiend loses. If you cannot protect the integrity of Hell in a Cell, then you find some way that you can. It's not fucking rocket science.
I'm still rolling my eyes at that decision. And that was and when is Hell in a Cell? Because I know it's coming up soon, and I'm cringing because it's like
After
giving me
SummerSlam.
anxiety
Well, I
that's
mean,
coming up soon.
well, God only knows, because who knows what they're gonna do with the
oh,
COVID
for
era.
it'll probably just be a cinematic sort of a thing
Which that might be cool, actually.
that could save Hell in a Cell. To be honest,
So,
yeah, I'd be into it.
Bailey and Asuka, they had a really,
I like them.
Yeah, they had a really great match, really great main event. Kudos to both of them. That's why they're probably the two best female wrestlers in the world right now.
Yeah, but we all knew that.
Yeah,
And it sucks that the reason why they're being given a chance now is just because of Becky's out for pregnancy, or
right.
Rousey said "F this place," or just whatever is going on. It's like I was saying, the women division seems to be on a decline a little bit. Where it's like, I know Ember Moon's hurt and stuff like that, but they had so many opportunities to build so many other people up where there could have been main event status right now, but they dropped the ball. Where it's like, where are all these people from NXT, especially where they,
Well, hell, even
Baszler recently she's really great. In my opinion, Baszler could be main event status, but they just do not pull the trigger on her. They just
well, we're gonna
Becky
get to talking about Baszler here in a second when we get to the thing that still makes me laugh. But anyway,
What's that?
Raw Underground. But not to take anything else away. But you mentioned they just refuse to pull the trigger. Like, how many fucking, I know in your opinion, you felt that Becky kind of really lost her luster midway through that after WrestleMania. Like about SummerSlam, I remember you saying you were kind of over
Right.
Becky at that point.
I was never really a fan. Like I gave her a chance. I gave the whole thing a chance. But every time I watch her matches, she never knocked it out of the park like she should have. Every one of her matches that she won, where it was like, oh wow, that could have been her big finish. That was like some sort of botch, or like you were talking about earlier, botchamania. She has some of the worst botches or pins or roll-ups, and especially when we were all there at WrestleMania Live, no one knew.
I think that was a little bit more.
Because it was,
That was a little bit more on Rousey than it was on Becky. I'll be a little fair there.
But even watching it back, it's kind of just like, wait, what? Like, that should have been her biggest achievement, but it was kind of just like a sloppy. Like I was saying though, none of her matches have impressed me. So I was kind of over her hype train before it started.
I thought the TLC match at Evolution with her and Charlotte was really, really good. I mean, it was last woman standing.
Charlotte, I'm more on the train of Charlotte than Becky, I would say, because
But
Charlotte has
but
definitely
you go from
proven it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big Becky fan, but I will say this about Becky and that whole run up to WrestleMania. You kind of had the perfect scenario laid at their feet, and then they're like, how can we complicate this?
By adding Nia Jax.
Let's have Nia Jax. Let's have this shit happen. Let's have more bullshit happen. Let's make it a three-way for no fucking reason.
Yeah, they could have had the 4 horsewomen at Mania, but they added Jax instead of Bailey. It was it, and
nope, we got
and
some
now
more.
What happened?
We got some chat.
Nice.
Oh, you got Miss Ace is agreeing with you, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, like I said, I gave her a chance. I literally watched her from NXT up, and then all 4 of the horsewomen, because that's when they made a big splash, so everyone knew who they were. In my opinion, Sasha was the standout, but then Charlotte.
That's where I disagree. Like, I just never
a Sasha fan.
I never got the big deal with Sasha. I don't think she's terrible, but I can't take the character seriously. I've said on the show a billion times, like, if you bought someone the Barbie be a villainous diva wrestler playset. Like, I can
Mhm.
see, like, children doing this thinking, like, I'm so cool and I'm bad. Like, that's what I see when I see Sasha. It's like,
Yeah, that's what I saw with Alexa
uh...
Bliss for the longest time, just like a little brat kind of a thing.
But,
You know
but,
what I
but to
mean?
me, like, out of NXT, you know, Bailey and Charlotte were kind of like these two. And then eventually Asuka's like, these three. I
Well,
like Becky.
Bailey and Sasha match at NXT in New York or whatever. That's still
That was
I thoroughly thought that was like a 6-star match, like this best match of the year, and that's when they both caught my attention. But Bailey, even they just maybe it's just
well,
she's a victim of the writing because she never got something good.
for me, like, it was Asuka's the one that's always been the biggest victim.
Yeah, but I saw her WrestleMania loss in New Orleans live. We were all surprised that she lost, and then the heel turn or whatever too. But like, it was. Oh no, she didn't turn. It was Nakamura, right?
Yeah.
Um, we were
Wrong
surprised that
Japanese
Asuka lost.
person.
I know, but we were just both stoked that they both got to be headliners in their division because that was really cool. But Asuka, ever since then, they just like you said, even though she's been tag champion and she's kind of like the Japanese mist kind of a character now, whatever. It's pretty cool and stuff, but like they just don't really know what to do with her, especially having her lose to Banks. Which, like I was saying, Banks and Bailey and Asuka, they're all fine and well and good, but they're just running in circles at this point because they don't have anyone else kind of just rising up. And I would say the standouts of the women division is probably the Iconics lately, where it's kind of like, yeah, but what are they really going to do? They're just going to be tag team champs or whatever. Like, it's pre-show material. Like, what am I doing here? Why am I watching this?
So we get to the main event. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. It wasn't a bad match, but then we have Randy Orton turns on Ric Flair, and Ric Flair gets beaten. Ric Flair returns to be beaten up by someone, part 3,986.
Ric Flair to wrestle in AEW next week. Watch. I like the segment though. I like the fact that Randy Orton's doing the officially retiring Legends kind of a thing still. It's cool, but like I said, Randy Orton, man, oh my gosh, why is Randy Orton still the thing?
That's my thing.
I was
it's kind of
over him
like
6 years ago.
I'm about to say, if this was 2009, sure, this would have been like. I mean, it was a good segment. I'm not going to be a complete player hater. It was a good segment. But on the flip side
Good
of things,
character development, I have to say.
It's like, this has been the same shit since 2004.
Yep.
Three.
Yeah, if you've been watching, if you're like one of those Laps fans like I was for a while, where you watch it and you're like, and you watch now lately, you're like, oh, he's still doing this? Like, or you'd be hyped, I guess, like, oh yeah, he's still doing this. It's tight, like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but Randy Orton's still doing this. Like, Jesus, man, we don't have anyone else that can be the top guy right now facing Drew.
Randy Orton.
I honestly even want Orton to win, but Drew has to win it back ASAP. You know what I mean? Because break the record, do what you have to do with Orton, but then get him out of there, please. Just go away. Like somebody else just.
Randy Orton would have benefited greatly from actually taking the AEW offer, but he felt the need to stay at WWE, which, hey, I'm not going to tell the guy what's best for him. I'm just saying from a fan's perspective, if he would have had, like, a fresh coat of paint and a change of scenery, maybe he'd care about Randy Orton more.
Yeah, it was just like Moxley, you know what I mean? All he needed was fresh, just somebody to be like, I don't do the script. Like,
here's this, go do something different and
just be yourself. Just do what you are. And Randy Orton is good. I can give him that, but it's just the point where it's okay. He's been there, done that. I've seen it. I don't care that he's still the top guy going after the top thing, whatever. At this point, there should be other people built up at this point. But and however, how old he is and stuff like that, it's just like at the same time. We're still watching Jericho and being super hyped that he's still wrestling or going for the belt and being the top guy.
But here's
kind of like but I don't know. I guess there are differences and stuff, but
the reason that I get a little bit more hyped about Jericho is compared to Orton. Going to justify my position a little bit. I get a little bit more hyped for Jericho because compare Jericho now to Jericho in 2009. 2010. Completely different character. And Jericho's using his evolution to make new people. And that isn't to say that Orton has never made somebody new. but
But where's this gonna end? Orton versus Triple H again or something? It's just
yeah,
like, it's just like, okay, if he's the top guy or whatever,
Evolution's
then
gonna
someone
explode
should
at
top him. But who are
WrestleMania
they gonna?
again.
But they haven't built anyone to be the top guy other than Drew lately or whatever. So it's like, who would? So it's just they've written themselves in a hole where it's like they should have a whole mid card roster of guys ready to go for the top prize, but they don't because they haven't done it except for the U.S. Championship where they've been building up lately, and which is cool. But those are the U.S. champs, like should be the cruiserweights basically or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's the
Or
one
not?
thing. That's the one thing I like about New Japan is New Japan has too many, like in my opinion, too many belts. But every time someone wants to go for a belt, it's like, ooh, this is a big deal. Oh, that
Mm-hmm.
belt switched hands. That's a big fucking deal. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. I'm a big New Japan fan. I don't understand what the purpose is of the never open weight title. But you know what? When someone wins the never open when Kenta won the never title, I'm like, holy shit, that's a big fucking deal. Kenta won a belt. You know, when the US title means even less.
Yeah.
But when Mox beat Juice, I'm like, holy fucking shit, that's a big deal that Moxley won that belt.
I know that he still can't travel, but is he still the champion?
He is.
Oh wow.
I know it's not because like they're starting to have like New Japan US shows and it's like well then they're what that was the original plan for that belt was they were going to like make it the centerpiece of like a New Japan US territory but you know I don't know where the politics what lies with the politics there to have Mox as champion but he can't really wrestle on
Well,
the
just
US
wait until
shows.
he comes out on either show with both belts. The internet's gonna explode.
We can only hope. But I'm going to quote Hawkeye from the Avengers movie on that one. Don't do that. Don't give me hope.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you never know. But
So we're going to go to Dynamite.
well, last thing about Raw or whatever I wanted to say was I guess they have a new. Well, it leads into Dynamite too, because they have a new stable, I guess, right? The Retribution kind of a thing, which I thought was
Yeah.
just Tozawa's ninjas. Like I didn't know that there was a difference. I thought they were all just because the ninjas were running amok doing crazy stuff. So these guys running amok doing crazy stuff. I thought it was just the ninjas doing the same thing, but I don't know. So this a wild guess. It's like okay, if these guys get unmasked or whatever, who could it be? These hooligans, whatever. I'm saying it's Undisputed Era. They might not look like it now, whatever. These might just be stand-ins and blah blah blah. But I'm gonna say it's probably some call-ups that we're not seeing yet. You know what I mean? Like maybe SummerSlam's gonna be their big stage, but
Hopefully.
even the ninjas, they're just a bunch of jobbers. Like what is even going on there? Where it's like why?
And here's the
At
thing
first
with
it could have been a cool stable, but they immediately became just cartoon foot soldiers where they're just getting like whacked with a hot dog and taken out. It's like, what in the world?
well, here's the Undisputed Era is like they could have a cool debut. You know who else had a cool debut? The
Who's that?
Nexus.
Right? Yeah.
Remember how the Nexus was gonna fucking change everything? And everything was gonna
Yeah.
be cool, and the Nexus was awesome.
They could
Yeah,
do that right now with the stacked roster they have on NXT too.
they
They have
could.
enough guys.
They could, but are they?
Nope. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to. I
I
don't
know.
want to be a pessimist, but it's like, fuck. Fool
Well,
me
but
once,
so
shame
my
on you.
point.
Fool me twice, shame on me. But I've been fooled several more times than twice.
Yeah. And then my lead into all this was going into AEW Dynamite, where the first match is the Young Bucks versus the Dark Order. I really love that first the Dark Order when we saw them at All In, where there was kind of like just like a bunch of like
Double or nothing. Double or nothing.
double. Remember when the Power Rangers would fight those putty guys and they walked all creepy, like they walked all
Yes.
like
Yes.
yeah, that's how they would do it, right? And then like so, but anyway, at first it was kind of like oh this is interesting, and then it kind of bombed, and then lately they've been building it up, but now I think it's one of the best stables because they have three divisions how it should be. They have the jobbers where they wear masks and they're just numbers and they are trying to prove themselves, whatever, but they're just jobbers. So anyone can beat them and they can have matches literally with anyone and just, it's like a cartoon where you just face the jobbers or face the bad guys because you have to. They have the
Right.
mid card like the legit tag team that can probably win a tag team championships with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and then they have the top guy who can go for the mains title and stuff like that with Brody Lee and possibly even Colt Cabana or maybe him going for the TNT, whatever. They have established people going for things. So when they come out and have matches, and then they even brought in a girl recently for the tag. She's in the tag team tournament, whatever, but she's a part of the Dark Order. So they're really branching out and establishing themselves as a credible stable. Where it's like, wow, these guys actually. Like at first, you just saw that they were the annoying people around, but then you just started seeing their buildings sprout up everywhere.
And
you
know,
like,
it's kind of
like legit.
With the Dark Order, it was, you know, they took something that was about ready to fail, and then they were able to breathe new life into it and make it work. Mm-hmm. And then
I thought the original vision was just Stu Grayson and Evil Uno being
me too.
Creepers, like.
But like they were able to change, like it wasn't working, so they changed it. That's one of the things that I do like about AEW is like, hey, we changed it and it worked now, so they're gonna roll with it. Or hey, they changed it and it didn't work, like the Nightmare Collective, and they dropped it. And it's done.
Yeah, and they have the benefit of pulling in new viewers too, who wouldn't see the bombing part of Dark Order. They just saw the good part, so they'd know, it's kind of like catching a season at season 3, and then if you really want to catch all the episodes, you start at 1, and you're like, oh, I see the character development, whatever. Right. They have the benefit of doing stuff like that right now, which is great. But yeah, like I just really appreciate how they're just one of the best. They pulled it around. They pulled it around because they could have been dog shit.
So we got in we got in the chat. We have Miss A says I was able to ID a few Retribution people. Vanessa Bourne, Chelsea Green, Ciampa, and the girl with the black and red hair is possibly Kaylee Ray.
Oh, really?
Oh,
so what?
Ciampa?
So it sounds like they're building maybe a new stable then. Well, Ciampa said he would never go to the main roster, right? But who knows?
Who knows?
I can see Chelsea Green definitely being in some sort of stable in the Bays main roster soon.
Anna J is the lady that joined Dark Order. Yes, thank you. Can remember that. And Fuzzy McFur just went wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. So, shit, you know it's there. We're all about the wee woos here.
Yeah, Chelsea Ray. Is that what you said? She was pretty good too.
Anna J, Kaylee Ray.
Oh. Kaylee Ray. That's what it was. Yeah, whatever it was, she did good. Trust me.
But yeah, they start off hot with that, you know, and
this tag team appreciation. What's your favorite tag team of all time, Eli?
Of all time?
If you have to pick one favorite tag team of all time, and then one favorite match, I guess, or whatever.
One favorite tag team of all time. That's... Okay, my favorite tag team of all time is not going to be in my favorite tag team match of all time.
That's fine.
My favorite tag team of all time, and it's a team that I never got to see in person. It was all from past stuff, would be Arn and Tully.
That's a good one. I don't know if I honestly even saw any of their Four Horsemen work or anything.
That's
I know the name.
That's the best part about the WWE Network is going back and doing that. Either Arn and Tully or... See, the thing is, like, I've always liked a lot of tag teams, but I've never, like, really... Like, I've marked out for the tag team, but, like, the way wrestling is now, they always split up the tag team. So it's like, oh, I didn't really get to spend a lot of time really getting into them.
Right.
I'd see either them or just the Hardy Boys. I'll go Hardy Boys overall.
Nice. That's a good, timeless.
Yeah, but Arn and Tully's a close second.
Then what about the match?
The match... Honestly, my favorite tag match might have just happened at Revolution, the Young Bucks versus Hangman and Kenny.
Right.
I think that might be my favorite tag match of all time. It just
I'm trying to think of which one.
Barely.
Was that for the titles, right?
Yeah, it's for the titles, and then that barely edges out the Revival DIY stuff and the TLC stuff.
Oh, I see. Well, I was never a fan of
saying that.
Was it? I was never a fan of Revival just because I never got to see them really. Every time
Right.
I never really watched NXT, but by the time they came to the main roster, they didn't really have much to work with.
Well, that's you answered your own question there. They went to the main roster.
Yeah,
They were tag team specialists that went to the main roster for a company that does not
that
particularly
does
care
not
about tag
feature tag
teams.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, those poor guys. Well, they're doing great things in AEW now.
Oh
So
yeah, and we're gonna get more of that. So yeah, the Young Bucks beat um
Young Bucks win again. The Dark Order.
yeah.
Then it goes on over with Mox and MJF segment.
I really like the MJF segment.
Yeah,
I
he's
really
doing.
he's on
MJF is
fire.
good.
He's on fire.
He
Again,
is good. I just don't know if he's going to beat Mox. If
I
he's
don't
going to do it.
I don't think so either. Um I kind of see that, and we'll talk more about this in our predictions episode for All Out. But I kind of see this kind of maybe going more in the direction of kind of like the old school, like when Ric Flair would. You think Ric Flair is going to get, even though MJF ain't the champion, you think Ric Flair is going to finally lose and get what's coming to him, and he's going to get the absolute fuck beaten out of him, and
Yeah.
then somehow he's going to weasel out with like just a DQ or something.
Uh huh. I don't. I just think that MJ. I mean, the other week when Darby Allin faced Mox, I thought that was like one of the best matches I've seen lately.
What's
And
up?
so hopefully MJF can follow up. It might not be extreme, it might not be bloody, whatever. But even if they just put on a good match, it'll be fine. I just don't really see MJF being the guy that beats Mox yet, whatever. So I'm kind of excited to see the next challenger after. But MJF, I don't think it's his time yet. He should be dominating. They kind of dropped the ball with his ring, I guess. Like, wasn't he held that ring that was like the
Yeah, I think it was just supposed to be like a trophy.
yeah, like he beat the tournament or whatever, or battle royal. Well, I don't know what it was. I forget now. But they kind of
We got
dropped the
some more
ball, kind
chatters
of
in
in
here.
that.
We got Eric Wade, normal chatter in here, Ergo.
Yes.
And yeah, he's Jedi is going on paternity leave.
Yeah.
So,
Congratulations to Jedi. He's gonna have a little baby boy.
yep. Congratulations there. So,
Pretty cool.
yes, it is.
But yeah, I don't know. MJF, great champion yet? I don't
No,
think so.
I don't think he's gonna be champion. I think he's gonna. I could see like
He could be Cody.
honestly, you know what might happen, and we might be kind of giving too much away. I think Mox might go too crazy on him, and Mox will win, or Mox will lose by DQ, keeping him the champion. So you kind of still get that heat on MJF, but MJF still gets the fuck beat out of him. So you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Well, maybe
So,
like Wardlow will jump in to stop it, kind of a thing.
yeah,
Like that kind. Yeah, I can see that. But MJF, I can see him raising up and beating Cody if no one else is going to really be a legit champion or
right.
challenger for Cody's TNT championship. Because then that would come full circle with them too. How Cody told him, "This isn't your story; it's just a chapter of mine." And then he comes back to beat Cody for the beginning of his kind of career because Cody's going to be winding down.
I don't think Cody's gonna be winding down. I just think he's gonna.
He's going to pass the torch.
He'll pass the
point.
torch, but I think Cody will always be around.
Right. But yeah, I definitely want to see MJF go after stuff like that because I don't want to see more belts in AEW because it's hard to say, that's going to solve the problem.
No. The only other belt that I think would work in AEW would be like a trios title.
Yeah,
because there's so many
but
stables.
I just like the idea that there's a bunch of people, like a lot of people in the mid card going for the TNT title or just having great matches, whatever, and then there's a main challenger for the championship title, and then every once in a while one of the mid card guys gets so good, whatever, that he wants to challenge and blah blah blah. They still have a big roster to revolve around that kind of stuff if they want to for a while, but at the same time, it's kind of just like hard to say that, oh well, these guys who are owed their just due, or they've been around for a while, or we're waiting for to see them do better things or whatever. Maybe another belt would solve the problem, but it's like I don't want to see too many belts because then they just dwindle in the meaning
Right.
like we've seen. So it's kind of like, is this a really thin rope to walk on? I don't know. And it seems
Yeah.
like they're going to add the women's championship belts. Maybe it's just a trophy right now. Maybe it's belts coming, but same thing where it's like, is that really going to be? It's just too many. I don't know.
Yeah, I get
We'll,
what you're
we'll
saying.
see.
The only other belt that I think would work is because if they want to keep adding more people to the roster and they want to keep having stables,
Mm-hmm.
trios belts would work, and you can maybe make them intergender. I don't know what their stance is on intergender wrestling. I've heard some people say they're open to it. Some people say they're not open to it. But like that could be like a little cool little caveat to the trios belts is you could have intergender wrestling or something. Um,
Have they had any matches in AEW? I'm trying to
I
think.
don't know they haven't yet,
Not
but
like
like
Brandy and Dustin Rhodes versus someone or anything like that. I'm trying to remember.
if they were intergender, like if they were mixed, then it was like the women wrestled the women and the men wrestled the men, and there was no deviation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
right. I haven't seen like a woman take on a guy or whatever. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah.
right. So we have some more chats. We have Grace Cyber Cleaner. Taylor Mary takes his place after he loses the tag titles and his trust the Bucks thing. So anyway, guys, no Spanish players give me Mox and green since Kenny likes green and Mox likes orange. That might work.
Mox and Orange.
uh, spray paint. Kenny goes green with the spray paint, and Mox goes orange with the spray paint.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy. He's having a good showing right now.
Oh yeah, but we'll get to that because we got more stuff to cover. So yeah, I like the interview. Matt Hardy interview where he's going crazy and beats up a referee thinking it's Sammy Callahan.
Matt Hardy's living his best life.
Oh yes, he
Jeff
is.
Hardy's just going, God damn it! Like,
Yes, he is.
poor
Shouldn't have
Jeff, and
re-signed
look at
that.
Matt, like, just what such a what a I don't know what a difference of just career path. But Matt Hardy is truly living his best life, just having his best career he can possibly have. Especially if you watch BTE, he's going nuts.
Stop
And
the
then him versus
multiverse.
I want to see him versus Sammy too. Like I'm invested in their storyline where he kind of wanted to choose Sammy to take him on his wing. He rejected it, refused it, whatever, broke his head, and now he's completely crazy. So it's like I want to see that match. You know what I mean? Like
Sammy
it's
Callahan, yeah.
good.
Oh, Sammy Goof, yeah. I don't know why I'm saying Sammy Callahan. It's too many of these. Um, Sammy Guevara, this guy with the on the thing. You can't see. I don't want to take it off because it'll fall.
Sammy Guevara, the Spanish guy.
Spanish God.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I think it's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be good. He's got to
Too
pass
many-
the torch on to someone new, and then Sammy will be able to be a
have you
credible threat.
noticed the? I mean, like all of the major stars in AEW have all like taken some young person to help them along. Like Cody's done it with
Yeah.
MJF. Matt's doing it with Sammy Guevara.
Uh-huh.
Jericho's doing it with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to watch something pleasant on wrestling.
Mr. Braley, cooler play that parody. I like it as long as it doesn't get. It kind of keeps where it's at and doesn't go too much more over the top. I'm all for it.
What is that?
Somebody in chat asked about Mr. Brody Lee.
Oh, I see. They have a new TNT championship. It's nice.
Yes,
I like
they
it.
do. Much
They
better
added some
than
color.
add some color and much better. But we're talking about Brody Lee and the TNT Championship. We have Cody versus Scorpio Sky of SCU. I really liked this match.
It was a good one.
I was really deflated when Scorpio didn't win, and I'm a Cody fan through and through. But yeah, I was really deflated when Scorpio didn't win.
Well, Scorpio has a really good record too right now, right? Like they're always bringing that up, I guess. Like
Yeah.
they say he's the prince of, or king of dark right now because he's never lost, and then he's having great matches. He is really good.
Oh yeah, he is.
Him versus Cody. I knew it was going to be a good match. Whatever. I didn't think he would win, but Cody definitely needs a new finisher. I think Kind of how like Naito came out with the Destino because his old finisher just wasn't doing it.
Right.
Cody kind of needs, because if everyone's kicking out of Crossroads and it takes two in a row or two or whatever, and then you know what I mean, or just uses submission like he does, or he definitely just needs something a little bit more new, flashy, updated, and it would save it. Kind of like how
Right.
Mox kind of messed around with his double arm DDT with like raising it up a little bit to make it more devastating or something, you know?
I'm
Like
with you.
he just needs something where it's like, all right, this is gonna be the finish now, because every time he does a Crossroads, I'm like, no, it's not it. Like pretty much 9 times out of 10, it's not. But I definitely want to see that.
I would.
Everyone
But
kicks out of Crossroads. It's new AA.
unfortunately. So, but Cody wins. Mr. Brody Lee challenges him for next week on Dynamite. I'm be interested to see if Cody wins that match. I
You don't
could
think Cody's
easily.
gonna win? I think
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's gonna be a good match.
I have enough intrigue where I could see Cody winning and retaining and taking this on to eventually an MJF or Darby or someone down the line, or I could also see that finally the Dark Order gets a title.
Yeah, that would be really good. And like I was saying, how I'm a fan of Dark Order, that would really legitimize them as like, okay, we're here to take everything over. You know, next is on our list is the tag team belts or whatever. So it'd be that would be pretty cool. I would dig that for sure. And since it's all in season or all out, whatever they're calling it, who knows? You know, what kind of
That's the one problem. The one reason why I say it's not set in stone is because it's going to be on a Dynamite. I could see
well, it's
them
a
one.
special
I
on
could
Saturday
see.
too.
It's just going to be a normal episode, though, from what I understand.
Oh, really? It's kind of like big. They're trying to hype it up as like a big. You got to watch this on Saturday, kind of a thing. It's right
Yeah,
after
but
the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean they gotta hype it up. But I mean, I think it's just gonna be like a normal Dynamite. It's just like, hey, we're on Saturday. It's like kind of like when Raw would get preempted and they'd have it on Tuesday. It's like it
but
was
it is
just
a weekend. They could probably, you know, they're not relying on the kiddos kind of a crowd or whatever. They could probably go a little bit more. I don't know. Hopefully, it can lean a little bit more heavy on like a good pay per view sort of episode. But I'm down to watch it still. Like,
yeah.
it's just gonna be good. I think it's just gonna be good. But Brody Lee winning, I could see it. I could see him not winning. Like I said, like Cody losing to MJF, just so that would legitimize that storyline full circle. But either way, it's all good stuff. And the belt looks good. Everything's good. And they're both WWE guys, so give or take their training. You know what I mean? They both had legitimate good training, and they both worked
Right.
camera. They both, you know, it's going to be a good match. I think they're going to put on a good show.
I think they are. So the next thing that happened was we had the tag title match with the Drunken Lovers, as I unofficially dubbed them, versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And again, really love this match.
No, not a fan.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, you said you did. Okay, I was going to say I thought it was cool. I like Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy.
Oh, me too.
I mean, he's cool.
I honestly thought there were times where Jurassic Express were going to win, especially because there's that tension with Hangman and Here's the thing with kind of the elite right now is somebody's going to turn. Either it's going to be Kenny going back to the cleaner, or it's going to be Hangman with his sympathy he's shown towards FTR, both on the show and on being the elite, or Cody, who's kind of, turned the douchiness up just a little bit, here recently. Somebody's going to go to the bad side of things. We just don't know who, what, and how it's going to play out yet.
Well, I think if Hangman, so if Kenny, because they've been teasing it, Kenny's been beating up Marco for no reason, and like of course because he's super small, you have to sympathize with Marco. So that's like the easiest way to do it, kind of a thing. And then during this match, he kept on messing with Marco, and Marco tried to get involved in whatever. So if Kenny went full heel, full bad guy, Hangman would have to go complete opposite and just be the biggest baby face, and he would have to pull out of his little drinking gimmick or whatever, and then just whatever. But even if Cody was the one to go to, they could probably have two of them at once or whatever. Like the elite can kind of split up a little bit because there are a lot of them now or whatever. Like if they invited Hardy into the mix.
Should AEW have more? Somebody in the chat saying should AEW have more divisions when PC hosts trying to push more? I'm not sure. Like I said, the only division that I think they should have would be trios belts because they have enough wrestlers. It'd give more of those wrestlers, especially like for dark, something to do, and there's enough stables you could carry trios belts. That would be
It
the
would
only.
have to be something unique too, like you're saying. Like, where else are you going to be able to see trios belts on AEW?
I mean, you can Ring of Honor, but who the fuck's watching that?
Right? Yeah. Well, even on TV or well, it's the Wednesday Night Wars. When am I going to watch this or the trios title belt or match
Right.
or what?
That's the
It's
one
just
thing
a
I could
bigger.
justify having. Other than that, no, I don't really think there should be any more divisions. Like where they're at's fine. Just treat. If you could bring them in and use them correctly, that would be what I'd bring in. Not a cruiserweight belt, not a women's tag belt. I like the tournament, but like, don't make it a belt. Those don't
Yeah.
work. Other than that, I'm that's
I
about
don't
where
know
I
if
would
they
stop.
could do cruiserweight because cruiserweights they like Darby Allin's going against Moxley. Darby Allin's like 100 pounds. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
I don't think cruiserweight would work. I kind of like how they're a little bit more
yeah,
fluid in the whole. You can be a cruiserweight and you can challenge for the heavyweight title right away. So, not putting labels
yeah.
on things has been nice.
But
So,
I definitely enjoyed this match. Jurassic Expressing, man. Kenny.
we're getting really like this match. But next up is the somebody finally did go bad, and it was FTR after a brilliant segment with Tully and Arn and the Rock and Roll Express. Basically, you think it's going to be just kind of a, hey, we're the legends, and it's going to be cool, and the Rock and Roll Express, yay, Young Bucks, and Arn's, yay, Revival, in a diplomatic, nice way, and then Tully, being Tully, basically goes full bad guy and kind of calls Arn out for basically doesn't insult the fans' intelligence because Arn did kind of cost the guy that Tully was managing a match a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of also called him out, going, "What are you doing supporting the Rhodes? We've always hated the Rhodes family." And yeah, kind of some tension between Arn and Tully, and
Who threw the first punch? Tully threw the punch at
Ricky
Morton.
Morton, and
Yeah,
then Ricky Morton retaliated, and then a scuffle ensues, and
these old guys just just let them run wild. I wanted to see them fight.
oh, me
Just-
too.
just let them.
The Revival pretend there's a knee injury and then attack the Rock and Roll Express. So, well, you knew that was going to happen. You just didn't know when, and it's official.
I didn't know that they were. Yeah, I didn't see it coming because I legit. Well, I legit thought that he was hurt, or I thought that was them playing it super close to the chest kind of a thing.
I knew it was part of the show from very beginning.
But damn, this spike they gave him too. The spike.
Oh yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Fuck, Ricky Morton was busting out Canadian Destroyers WrestleMania weekend in 2019.
Yeah, you can
Nope.
just hear. I want to hear what Jim Cornette has to say about the whole thing because he's just steaming. He's steaming from the ears about. Well, I talked so much shit. I couldn't have been invited to this, but I wish I was a part of this because I would love to be.
The only thing fucking good about this is fucking Ricky Morton. Other than that, it was all fucking bullshit. And I hate Ricky Morton now for even saying anything bad about the Young Bucks, motherfucker.
They're killing the business. Oh
Killing
my
the
god.
goddamn business.
It's just I thought this whole segment was golden though. It was great.
It was great,
I
yeah.
was genuinely shocked. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was just one of their bullshit. Tag team appreciation, kind of a whatever, maybe a fun segment. If it would have just ended as it ended, I would have been like, oh cool, what's gonna happen next? But then how
But we still
FTR
don't know
went
what's going to
full.
happen next, so it's gold.
Yeah, I loved it. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be Bucks versus FTR. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be great.
So we go kind of an odd segment with Jake the Snake, and
I liked it.
I like it. Just kind of like, what happened?
I like how Jake's just like, come on, man, no, come on, dude. You said you wouldn't do this. He's just like being bullied by Jake.
That's kind of the
yeah.
thing I'm wondering is we gonna see some? Is he gonna turn on Jake completely, or what's happening?
And he's always beating people up, and now he's just bullying Jake because he's bored. It's like he needs something to do. He needs something to do. He needs an opponent.
And I'm thinking maybe down the road Darby Allin would be a good opponent for him.
Like we were saying. I don't even know if we said it on the show. We've been talking for a while now, but one of the news stories, I guess, was that AEW is starting to let people go because they just have an inflated roster as it is right now. But guys like bringing in guys like Archer and stuff, where it's just like, what are they doing right now, though, or who are they facing,
Well,
or what are they?
I mean, unfortunately, sometimes you're just not always going to have. That's just the nature of wrestling. Is sometimes you're not going to have the most A-list storyline for everybody, and you might have a great talent who he just might not have that storyline. So you have him do beat downs and stuff. Go like, this guy's a monster. So then eventually, whenever Darby Allin or Joey Janela says, "I want to fight somebody," oh fuck! Remember that guy?
Right?
He's
What
gonna
happened
kill
to Joey
somebody.
Janela? Oh, he's gonna be a tag team.
Yeah, he's with Sonny Kiss.
Yeah.
So we get to the main event.
Is
Orange
it Jericho?
Cassidy.
Oh no! Is that the main event?
Yeah, it's main event.
Because what about Heather Monroe? I gotta.
Oh,
finish
yes,
on
yeah,
Heather
yeah.
Monroe.
This is okay.
Heather Monroe, Penelope Ford, Brandy, AEW. They're the winners right now. Whatever they have to on offer, I'm watching it. Heather Monroe, she's not the best wrestler or whatever, but Sheeta's pretty good because she has to be. They should build Sheeta
Sheeta
up
is
like
good.
Asuka.
Oh,
So
yeah,
she
they
should
should.
be a legit, threat or whatever, putting people away fast or whatever. But I thought it was a good debut, and then I want to see more of her for sure. But I thought it was pretty fun.
I liked it. But the next match, I thought was okay. The next match is what I really liked, which was Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy, with Orange Cassidy winning.
So he doesn't have to pay the $7,000 bill.
Nope.
Which is just a fun. That was just a fun extra little thing. It's like one of those matches where it's like the career. If I win, you have to quit wrestling or whatever. It's like, oh, he's not going to lose now, or you know what I mean. It's like one of those things where it was super fun to watch.
The worst part of it was like afterwards, Orange Cassidy tweeted like, "Oh crap! I didn't know I was gonna have to pay that if I lost," or something along those lines. Or
Just like forwards it to Tony Khan or something.
I'll try and pull up the tweet, but like he just said something very.
Yeah, Jericho. I mean, Cassidy. If you said you watched Cassidy on the Independents before he got big or whatever, and I think you were the first person to like mention him. Or
I
the first
watched
time
him. I saw him at the WrestleCon Super Show for the first time, the Thursday of New York.
Before All In. Or when did he debut? All Out?
All Out, yeah.
Yeah, because he debuted, and that was the first time I saw him. And my brother-in-law told me, "Oh, this is the guy who puts his hands in his pockets on the internet, whatever." And I was like, "What?" Like, and then after that, I think you even said, "Oh yeah, that's Orange Cassidy or whatever." So I looked him up, and so if you watch any of his matches or look him up or even seen him live or whatever when he came to like small town venues and stuff, you know what he's capable of. Like, you know what he can do and stuff. You know he can go. So it's fun to watch him develop on TV now because like the TV audience hasn't seen that yet. So if you're kind of like twitching your fingers, going like, "Oh, I know what he's gonna do next time," of thing, and I can't wait to see it against especially a guy like Jericho, where it's like he's legit gonna put him over, or it's just like, man, this is gonna be fun to watch. But I thought this is probably one of the more fun things. Like I said, it's fun to watch something that's like pleasant to watch on TV when it comes to wrestling for a change. Where it's like, I want to see more of this. I love the storyline, how it developed. I love how it finished. This is probably not their last match.
The end of the match was kind of like, something was off there, but still.
Yeah, like
great story.
Same thing with overall, Becky. That was kind of a botchy finish.
Right. Orange Cassidy's weed. Phew! I didn't know how much money it was.
But he, I think if him and Jericho have another final match, like the rubber band kind of a match or whatever, one final one, and it's like truly going to settle the argument of like if Cassidy's ready to go, for sure, I think Cassidy's going to be one of the guys who can contend for the main title or maybe go against someone like Mox or whatever, but I don't know if he's ready. Like a TNT belt, for sure. Pull the trigger on him, make him the belt.
Well, I mean,
he pulls the ratings. I guess if that's the TNT kind of a thing, like you're the champion of the channel. Like it definitely goes to Cassidy.
Yeah, it's so far. Anytime that they've actually put him in a high pressure match, he's delivered.
He's delivered.
He has delivered.
That was a great match.
Oh yes, it was. But that is pretty much that's wrestling this week, and we'll be back next week with we're gonna try for 2 episodes. One, we're gonna do our normal Thursday night show with SummerSlam predictions. Because
so what's going on? next week there's Monday Night Raw. Is there Wednesday Night Dynamite, or that's just on
That's
Saturday?
just on Saturday, so that's why Thursday we're gonna just do SummerSlam predictions, and then
Okay.
on Saturday, I don't know. Just stay posted to my social media channels. It's kind of a play it by ear kind of thing, while the other half is out being a father. um, We're either going to go live immediately after Dynamite, or we might do a live watch along for Dynamite. We don't know. It all depends on choreographing things from the Southern Illinois, St. Louis area to Southern California.
SCU.
SCU. So yeah, it's.
And then SummerSlam is when, on Sunday? This Sunday?
I believe next Sunday.
Not next Sunday.
So that's
Okay.
why Thursday we'll do SummerSlam predictions.
Cool. That sounds good.
And there will be a giveaway contest. So.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, so stay tuned for that. So thank you to Eric for stepping into the role from chatter to now co-host while Jedi takes care of that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling. Got some comic videos coming in the month of September, so be on the lookout for those. And also keep checking out the Geeking Out podcast. Very proud of those. Interviewed a lot of local wrestlers and really fun to have a listen to. And follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeekA9, Twitter @athletic_geekA9, and Instagram @athleticgeekA9. So for Eric, I'm the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks, and we're out. Have a good one.
Nice. Good one. That was fun.
Yep, we're still live.